Traders War Room wants to thank you, the viewer, for coming along with us on this journey. Please check out the description tab, as all links to the content discussed in the video will be there, as well as our social media platforms and links for online brokerage if you so choose to decide to get into the stock market. Attack, destroy, and conquer. And as always, if you're ready, follow me and let's go to war.
What is up, team? Chuck with Traders War Room, and I'm back at you with another video. Listen, this is your midweek SITREP, and we're going to talk about what's happened so far in the market, what happened today, and a few things that we can look for coming into the end of this week and possibly into next week. Look, what I need you to do right now is like, share, subscribe, join the team, join the community, come with us on this journey, man. We're starting to get a lot of motion and people engaging, and we're truly starting to cultivate that group and that community where we're learning from each other, we're sharing from each other, we're giving information out from individual skill sets that we're good at and pushing it out and taking constructive criticism. Man, it's all coming together, and I need you guys to come with us on this journey because I need your input to become better and more prepared for the future. Okay, so Twitter, Discord, Facebook, YouTube, and we got the Reddit up and running. I was in the live chat earlier today talking to a couple people, doing some things. So man, come with us on one of the journeys. Check out the description, all the links are there. So, and I say this all the time, and I truly mean it, if you are ready, follow me and let's all go to war.
Traders War Room wants to remind the viewer that all content on this channel is for education and entertainment purposes only. You are responsible for every decision you make within the stock market. Tread cautiously and be careful, but have fun and go to war.
All right, team A, let's quit beating around the bush and get to it, okay? The buzz report, what's hot and what's not in the stock market today, and let's get it.
Next stories that are making some headlines. Uber shows smallest quarterly loss in history thanks to sales of self-driving unit delivery continues to dominate. Listen, I love Uber. I think Uber's going to be something special in the future, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Uber is like the front runner for like the robo-taxis. You know, they partner with Tesla or whatever in the future, and they're the ones that are driving around taxis like you see in that old Schwarzenegger Total Recall movie. Next, PayPal sees record earnings volume amid sustained e-commerce surge. PayPal is a beast, okay, and they are going to continue to surge in this fintech era, especially now that they're into this blockchain and cryptocurrency. Keep your eye on PayPal, man. They got nowhere to go but up. Etsy stock falls more than 7% after earnings. We already knew that this was a meme stock and this was being pushed hard by the Reddits and stuff. I'm not surprised here that this stock tumbled after their earnings. They could even had good earnings. They were still going to fall. And Moderna says trial booster vaccine effective against COVID-19 variants. Listen, you're starting to see a little bit of trend now that we got these vaccines and people are getting vaccinated, and you're starting to see pharmaceuticals and the biotech companies starting to pop up, especially anything with COVID, vaccine, and other strains related to something like that. So keep your eye out on these. Moderna, Pfizer, and some other ones are the big names, but you got some other companies, IBIO, you got PRPO, you got some other ones that are a little bit cheaper, and they're moving on sympathy because they're trying to get into the big boys' shoes. So keep your eye out for these. And I couldn't give you guys a buzzworthy news report without talking about Dogecoin or Dogecoin or however you want to say it, man. I call it the Doge, right? But it is now worth more than Twitter. And listen, this thing has just gone in at a beast. I got in at 3 cents just out of one of those things like I didn't get into Bitcoin back in the day in 2009 or whenever it came on the scene kind of big. And I kick myself in the butt all the time. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that with Dogecoin. So I put, $2,000 into it, got in at 3 cents, and man, it is doing phenomenal. And I'm just going to let this stuff sit here and just make money. And if I lose it, you know what? Hey, I that's the risk I take, but I'm not going to make the same mistake I made with Bitcoin and not move forward with this. And so far, it's doing pretty good. But we can't talk about big movements without talking about Dogecoin. And don't forget, we got Elon Musk doing Saturday Night Live, who they're calling him the Doge Father, a little parody off of the Godfather. And he's going to be on Saturday Night Live. So expect this thing to continue to surge up, especially with him being kind of the poster boy of this particular meme stock. And you can't really call it a meme stock anymore because there's actual applications that Dogecoin is starting to be recognized for. So this thing has nowhere to go but up, in my opinion. But tread cautiously, tread carefully with any type of crypto or any stock that you get into, especially now with the market being so nuts. All right, let's get into some killer stocks. First one I want to talk about is RHE. Man, I put that alert out at $10, and this bad boy ran all the way to almost $27, okay? Listen, if you guys don't have the social media apps and you're not following Traders War Room on one of the social media avenues, you're doing yourself a disservice. We are giving out great alerts for stocks to look at, also stocks to get in. And man, right now, especially with options and puts being so difficult because of the volatility, we are riding momentum plays, and this was one that just smashed it. So congratulations to everyone that got in early, got out high, and even if you got a couple runners, you guys are still sitting a lot higher than when you initially first got in. So continue this. I look at this, I'm going to watch this tomorrow for some continuation, but I wouldn't be surprised if this spikes up and then starts coming back down, because these momentum plays usually don't last too long. Now this play, NMRD, this one had some solid news, and it took a little bit for this to come through. The news came out in pre-market, as you see, it was kind of flatline in pre-market, but then when the bell rang, man, this thing took off, and then we see some healthy pullbacks, and we see a nice, when that pullback came at about the 12 o'clock era, a lot of people started selling out because they thought, oh, this is garbage, whatever. But this is where the patience come into play, because the news was just too good, and it was legit news, all right? So if the volume is there, 55 million, and the news is legit, it's solid news, and this thing could be revolutionary and it could be game changing, man, you gotta stick with these plays. And as you see, the cup and handle spiked back up at about the 1400 time frame, and then it just continued to go on from there into after hours. I would not be surprised if this is a multi-day runner. If we see a little drop in the morning during a pre-market, we'll probably see some spikes. At the bell, we'll see a drop, and this thing will run again. So I got this. I'm still holding this. I got in at about the $5 era, and I'm going to ride this out to tomorrow. If you guys don't have the alerts, you need to get onto social media to get those alerts. I'm telling you, you guys are missing out on making this money. Now, I want to talk about some of the losers. Listen, COCP. Listen, we gave this one an alert yesterday, and this thing was a monster. We rode this up from like the $1.50 range all the way up into the threes, and we cashed out, right? So I feel bad for the ones that got in at super high at like the $3.25 era when they saw the stuff spiking up, because this thing just absolutely crashed and it just never recovered. And sometimes you got that, and these things are just that, okay? They're momentum plays. Now we need to be cautious. This thing popped on news that wasn't even real news, okay? And so it was a strictly just pump and dump play, but we got in early, we rode the momentum, and we got out. And that's the key with momentum plays. Sometimes they're gonna have legit news, sometimes they're not. You gotta be able to decipher what's legit and what's just pumping stories, okay? And when you don't have good news and you see this thing just rolling up, I always assume that it's a pump and dump, and I'm just going to ride it up till I see it spike, and then I'm going to get out quick. And I'm not going to have fear of missing out, because you know what? People that had fear of missing out, they got in high at $3, $3.25, maybe even $3.40, and they are sucking wind right now because this thing just tanked. So be careful of those dead cat bounces, or the falling knives, or the pump and dumps.
All right, questions from the front line. We're going to take a question from Facebook, because we've been doing a lot of Discord, so I want to go back to the Facebook. So let's check out our question of the day from our warriors on the front line, and let's see if we got an answer for them and what kind of question they have to share with the rest of the group. So let's check it out.
So for our questions from the Frontline, I really got a comment from the Frontline because this is one of my moderators on my Facebook group, man, and he's putting the right information out to the users. And I want you guys to, anytime I see people doing the right thing and pushing out great information, man, I'm going to highlight them. So Andy Knox, here's your highlight. Listen, he's responding to this article that I'm about to show you, but I agree. I'm also in biotech and ready for the future of medicine. In 20 years, we could be curing stage 1 and 2 cancers if we keep at this pace. And so basically what he's talking about is I put a comment out there, a thought-provoking comment saying, hey, here's some of this research, and I'm about to show you the clip, but here's this research that's talking about this type of technology in the biotech and the pharmaceutical industry. And now finally, the ideas that we have in our head, the technology has risen up to that we can actually execute our ideas and express our ideas and research our ideas and come up with this great stuff, man. So Andy Knox, you are absolutely right, man. The biotech is a great industry to get into at the ground level because this stuff is popping off, and I only think this is the beginning. So let's take a look at the article that he's responding about and putting out his 2 cents in the group so that other people can get spun up on it. And so here's the article, and I'm going to put this in the description so you can look at this yourself. But scientists say they discovered the gateway to consciousness in the brain. Listen, so they were doing all this research in the cerebellum, and they were talking about how the brain, you know, the old myth, the brain, you only use 10% of your brain power and all that stuff. Well, it's kind of true, right? Because we keep part of it locked up, and it's that we don't allow ourselves because of some sort of human, you know, thing that we got going on. We don't allow ourselves to learn and understand and look through those things. So they're talking about the gateway to consciousness in the brain so that we can open up this other pathway so that we can absorb more and start using more of our brain, man. And I'm telling you, this biotech stuff and this pharmaceutical research that's coming along to fix neurological disorders and things, this is huge news. And keep your eye on this industry and the healthcare industry as a whole, because technology is now spun up to the point that all these ideas in our heads, we're able to actually exercise them and come out with things and practical applications with those because technology is so robust currently. So Andy Knox, appreciate it, man. You're a scholar and a gentleman, and you're doing great things for the group. Y'all, if you guys aren't on the group, you guys need to get spun up on the social media and check it out, man. Lots of good stuff out there. All right, so for the training part, I want you guys to kind of look at these patterns right here, all right? And tomorrow what I want you to do is some of the stocks, specifically stocks that you aren't in but you're watching, because if we're in the stock, we're worried about the price action, we're worried about the momentum, the volume, and things like that. But if you're thinking about getting into a stock, or just so that you can get some research and training done, man, look at a couple stocks and see if you can find these type of patterns out there. And then see, once you see the pattern, say for example you see a falling wedge, okay? So that's a bullish pattern, right? A continuation pattern. So the falling wedge is usually going down before a spike up. So see if you see these patterns and then see what it does later on. And that's why I say do it on a stock that you're following but you're not in, because you might be more emotionally tied to the stock that you're investing in. But if you're not emotionally tied to it and you're just watching the stock, you can actually see the patterns form and see what it does. And more often than not, patterns tend to repeat themselves and they do act accordingly. Now, of course, news and sentiment and money flow and all these other things trump the patterns. But a lot of times you see a pattern and it will do what people think it's going to do, because like I said before, patterns tend to repeat themselves, but they don't always have to. So that's your homework. That's the training part. One of the principles here at TWR, planning, training, managing, securing. So make sure you get yourself spun up on this. This stuff is important because you have to be able to understand charts and read charts to make informed decisions.
Wrapping up the week. We're midway point into after hours right now. So I'm going to give you guys a list of some stocks that I'm watching for the remainder of this week and on to next week. And we're going to see if any of these pop off, and make sure you guys are in one of those social media groups, because we give real-time alerts to any type of moves and information or anything that be popping off. So get into one of those social media groups because you don't want to miss out. So check it out. Let's see what I'm looking at.
So moving into, tomorrow and the remainder of this week and even into next week, a couple of the stocks that I really got my eye on are Wayfair, Viacom, ROKU, and DraftKings and Spectrum. Now, I do like AMC too. AMC is one of those, it might happen, it may not happen. Everyone knows the story with AMC, kind of trends along with the GME, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to beat that up too much anymore. But Roku, Wayfair, Viacom, and DraftKings and Spectrum, those are the ones I really am paying attention to. There's some other ones that I'm looking forward to, but if these things don't start spiking up here at the end of this week, I see these going into next week, possibly the week after that, as starting to recover very nicely. So keep your eyes on those. Those are what I got on my hot watch list, and you should do the same. Create a list of stocks that you want to watch and make sure that you guys pay attention to them, because you don't want to miss an opportunity.
All right, team, it's a wrap. It's over. Listen, amen. I really, truly appreciate every single one of you. In fact, give a salute out to all the members that are with us on this journey, okay? We truly are doing this together, all right? You guys are the reason why I'm putting out content and trying to keep it so relevant, and you guys give me feedback, which makes it just that much better in the end. So, truly, thank you guys for joining all the TWR moderators and admins and our market coalition that we have, man. If you haven't checked out some of the other groups that are in this as a joint venture, man, you need to check them out, because we got something for everybody. Okay, we got strategies. There's people that analyze charts. There's people that are day traders, long-term traders. Man, we got a little bit of everything. All right, so you really need to take a look at some of the other groups that we have going on, and make sure you guys hop in here and give us good content and comments and little thumbs up signs, so that we know that we're doing stuff and we can continue to keep going and growing together. Now, as always, here at Traders War Room, we look at the stock market like it's a war zone, right? The stocks and their sectors, those are our battles. We do it together as a team, and I told you, as a community, we're coming through strong, right? Attack, destroy, and conquer, that's what we do, and we're trying to give ourselves the best opportunity every single day to strike hard and strike first, and make sure that we come out with the best position possible so that we're profitable in the long run. The goal is to be better prepared today than we were yesterday, and I tell you guys that all the time, and I truly mean it. Now, as always, if you're ready, follow me, and let's all go to war together. Let's get it.